We can't even have a normal weekend here in Canada. There is a lot to cover in this video, and I'm surprised there's this much happening over the weekend, but yet here we are living in a wacko world with a wacko prime minister. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you have yet already. It does really help grow the channel. We have leaked information that Justin Trudeau will not be running in the next election. We have Jagmeet Singh, who has come out publicly and threatened Pierre Poilievre with 48 hours notice. We have an update in the encampments that are happening and taking over University of Toronto, and we have a few other updates. Before we do get into it, speaking of wackos in this world, I do want to mention that I have a limited edition for a limited time only sticker available, link down in the description or the pinned comment below. Wacko Trudeau has to go. Get yours before they are all sold out. And by the time this video is uploaded, they very well might actually be all sold out. They are flying off the shelves. All right. Without further ado, let's get into this here. Let's get into this this clip of one of the last question periods where Minister of Twitching, Freeland, was asked if our government wanted to protect our young children from meth, heroin, and fentanyl. Kind of weird that the government doesn't seem to want to do that.
Mr. Speaker, this government is supposed to be in the business of protecting children, not killing them with exposure and access to hard drugs. The RCMP has confirmed that legal hard drugs are being sold on the black market. In Abbotsford, the Soccer Association has to regularly sweep the needles for pitch. The Legion and many businesses in Mission have to deal with crack smoke every day. When will this government do the right thing and cancel their ideologically extreme experiment to legalize hard drugs and start protecting BC's children? Hear, hear.
Mr. Speaker, as a mother of 3, including teenagers, I care so much about Canada and Canadians, and I agree, opioid addiction is a tragedy. It is a public health tragedy, and it is a public safety tragedy. But let me tell you what is putting the public safety of all Canadians at risk: consorting with white supremacists and misogynists.
That's crazy, dude. She's literally being interrogated publicly for the entire world, or at least the country, to see, and her go-to answer is deflection. The opioid crisis in Canada has literally, like quite literally, been fueled and started and continues to be propped up by this liberal government. It's insane. It's insane, man. We need a massive change of government. We need to recriminalize drugs. We need to make it so it's not cool. Why is it cool now to do crack, heroin, and meth and whatever out in public? It's freaking bizarre. Wacko world with a wacko leader. Next up, we have a update as the Gaza camp at the University of Toronto. There's a revolutionary mood. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Azrael. I'm a member of the Revolutionary Communist Party, and I'm here on night 1 of the UFT encampment for Palestine. The mood today was very electric and revolutionary. We had over 1,000 people outside those gates in defense of this encampment. And you can see all around that there's a revolutionary mood and a mood of camaraderie that I've never seen before. What's required next is to expand the struggle to the workplaces and the community and fight the bosses and the imperialists to free Palestine. Hi.
I don't know about you, but I feel like their efforts will be pummeled inevitably by the police and by the government. I mean, historically speaking, if you have a lot of people go into one place over time and it gains any sort of attention, and it's the whole purpose of it is protest, the police will come and beat you up. I mean, unless that was only a one-time thing, but it really seems like the Canadian government doesn't want these things to happen. Also, there's also, you know, the fact that these are kind of anti-Semitic. But anyways, let's just get over that one and take a look at a different clip in the daytime of Kassad, who is at the encampment with a little update of her own.
So behind me is the fencing for the People's Circle for Palestine, the encampment that has set up at the University of Toronto. There is a small entryway where people can come in or out with the proper permission. A small counter protest has set itself up around the corner here. They've mostly just been holding signs and talking to people, not talking to people. The mood is a little bit, it's a very nice day. It's a very nice day, but there's some tension around cameras.
Come back and check in with this person as well, okay? Or someone might take it from you so you can check in. We'll see. Hi. Awesome. Thank you very much. Can I ask you to back up, please? There's children here. So we know you're like a recognized abuser. Can I ask you to step back, please?
Recognized abuser, that's defamatory. Can you explain yourself?
Okay, you as well?
Yeah.
And you as well?
You're just going to call someone an abuser and then not explain that? That's abusive, I think. That's pretty abusive. If you want to explain yourself, by all means. We're here, no one's touching you, no one's going to touch you. But why did you just call him an abuser?
Oh no!
Let's go over here. Let's just like get away from the place. All right. So this is not. Yeah. Okay. Come on, please.
He doesn't have to follow you. He doesn't want to follow you. We're here. We're at the gate. We're at the gate.
Freaking Karima. She's her own legal representation. Oh my goodness. What a shit show that these protests in this encampment or whatever the hell it's called has turned into. I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this going to spiral out of control? How is the University of Toronto going to address this, right? That's kind of what is on the minds of Canadians. Anyways, moving on, we now have Jagmeet saying, who is threatening Pierre Poilievre? Man, you can't make this up. You got 48 hours, Pierre. You got 48 hours. Here we go.
48 hours. Pierre, I'm giving you 48 hours to decide. Because women have worked way too hard to see their rights rolled back. So you have 2 days to decide whether you're going to stop blocking our attempt to bring in free birth control for women, or New Democrats will force through that legislation whether you want it or not. Either way, New Democrats will show you can't mess with women's rights in Canada. 48 hours.
There you go. So 48 hours. He didn't say what's going to happen, but it just seems weird. It just seems like Jagmeet is on this campaign for a desperate attempt at any form of relevance. He doesn't get the same exposure from mainstream media, even on social media. He borders that line of cringe, and that's how he generates clicks and views and attention, such as this. If you didn't threaten Pierre Poilievre and give him 48 hours, we wouldn't even be looking at Jagmeet Singh. He wouldn't even be a topic for the weekend or for the week or even the month. He has nothing relevant to say. It's super, super bizarre, but I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments about Jagmeet and his 48-hour warning. You know what, Jagmeet? Why don't you do us all a favor and take a look at the polls? This is, by the way, this is the target demographic that the NDP goes after, and they are very much failing. 18 to 29-year-olds. There are not a lot of 18 to 29-year-olds that vote, okay? Most conservatism comes with being a weathered individual, seeing what's happening out there. I'm not saying you can't be a conservative under 30 years old, but I mean, a lot of people are woke. The younger generation is pretty woke. And if you're watching this and you're younger, I'm not saying you're woke. I'm not saying your friends or your family or whatever are woke. I'm just saying historically, right? That's how the system is designed to indoctrinate people through the school system to come out of that from university or from high school to be a little bit more woke and progressive. But that's not even working. You have the younger generation. According to this poll, conservatives are at 43% approval rate between 18 and 30 years old. And that's the target. That's the target audience of the NDP. The NDP goes after the younger, the impressionable, the ones that can't afford anything, right? The ones that are just fresh out of school, that are looking for a place to rent or thinking about getting their own home, going to university, graduating university. That's who the NDP and the Liberals are after. The younger folk. and it's not even working there. The Conservatives are just going to have this incredible landslide victory. It's going to be quite the political shift. I'm pretty excited for voting season to come through. Next up, we have Pierre Poilievre's wife. It says, "Dear Liberal Party, thank you for reminding us on your latest post that your leader lives in a different world. Worlds apart indeed." And of course, this is Justin Trudeau on a convertible Mercedes. And then you have all of these homeless encampments, right? And then you have Mark Slapinski, who says heroic post. It's just wild what's going on. Trudeau does live in a very weird, delusional world, right? Where he's made himself king shit of Turd Island, Canada, and we're all supposed to bow down to him because he gives us carbon rebate handouts when, I mean, the rebate is less than what we're actually putting into the carbon tax. Very, very bizarre, which leads me into this leaked information right here, where you have Greg Scott on X saying, "My dad is friends with a senator who told him the word in Ottawa is that Justin Trudeau won't be running in the next election." And you have a lot of people in the comments that are agreeing with this. And you're just, I mean, if I just ignore that post and I use my own critical thinking, and I want you guys right now in the comments to jot down if you think Trudeau is going to run or if he's not, because I don't want my opinion to influence what you guys have to say about this right now. But my own personal belief is that Justin Trudeau he's not medically there. Like, in his mind, he's kind of delusional. You have mainstream media, you have CTV, CBC, Global News, CP24, all these mainstream stations that are supposed to be propping up the Liberals and the NDP agenda, right? Empowering them, giving them a platform, asking them softball questions. They're not doing that anymore. They've been asking them really hard questions. And even with Jagmeet Singh, they're saying, you are saying that the Prime Minister is incompetent or something similar. You're also in charge of making that government stay in power by not calling an election and by continuing your coalition. It's a real thing that reporters have said quite recently. So it's very, very interesting to see these kind of tides shift, and they're attacking the current government and the government coalition. And I just don't think that Trudeau, maybe he has the stamina to go the distance to the next election, but he doesn't have the confidence. It doesn't even matter at all how woke, how progressive you are. At the end of the day, you got to buy groceries. You got to pay for rent. You got to pay for your mortgage. You got to pay for home heating. You got to pay for water, or maybe you're on a well or whatever. You have to buy shit. It's pretty much what I'm trying to say. You have to use your card, your debit, your credit card, whatever it is, or cash. You have to pay for something. And when you go to hand that money over for, services or goods, you're left at the end of it going, that's really expensive. Wonder what's causing this. Why is a small container of blueberries $10 or $15? Why am I paying so much for food? And then when you start saying that, your phone listens. Your phone is always listening, even though they say it's not. It is. And then all of a sudden, you get fed one of Mr. Sunshine Baby's videos. And I'm here to tell you, it's the government's fault as to why things are so expensive. We have an inflationary government where they are spending. And then there's a bunch of bills to pay. And they're spending. Not on our bills to pay, but they're putting us into more debt. They don't know how to manage money. I'm not the person who could fix that. I'm not saying I can handle all of Canadian taxpayers' money better than the government, but I certainly don't think I could do it any worse. I at least would have a more calculated decision. I'd listen to the people saying, millions of people in Canada don't actually agree with spending billions of dollars sending to Ukraine to fund that war when we have people on the streets in every city across Canada, and there's tent encampments and our roads are crap and this and that and the other. I mean, it's wild. So it doesn't matter how delusional you are. At the end of the day, you're going to have to make an informed decision when it comes time to vote, and you're going to be looking at your bank account going, I might be a little bit more progressive, but I'm also becoming a little bit poorer. Let's maybe vote for the other people. That's all I have to say about that. Next up, we have Chrystia Freeland, who apparently, let's just take a look at this. I'm not even going to give the precursor. Here we go.
You know, Bronwyn, I would actually say it's less about me and more about Canadians. You know, we have some political differences even around this issue in Canada, but I would say actual Canadian people are very clear in the centrality of this issue and the importance of supporting Ukraine.
Nope.
You know, Bronwyn.
Nope. Look, we agree almost unanimously that war, a byproduct of war, is mass casualties, right? A lot of innocent lives get taken, and no reasonable person supports that. But, however, that's not really an excuse for Canada getting involved financially, emotionally, investing a shit ton of our resources into something that they're not even a part of NATO. We don't actually have an obligation to help them. It's also on the other side of the freaking world. So why are we doing it? I mean, there's a lot of people way smarter than me that have come out and linked ties between all of this money going to Ukraine and embezzlement and all this stuff. And I don't know, but it pisses me off and it irks me. It irks me that the government is doubling down, tripling down. And every time they come out with a new announcement of monies spent in Canada, usually Ukraine is involved. And it seems super, super sketchy. Next up, speaking of sketchy, we have a post by Sarah Fisher, who I believe works or is affiliated with the Conservative Party of Canada. It says the desperation in the Liberal Party has been on full display lately. The false accusations, bold-faced lies, and partisan attacks are falling flat. Canadians see through the nonsense and desperate attempts to distract from their extremist agenda. So this comes in light of a post that Marcy did on X saying, denounce neo-Nazism or leave the room. Conservatives leave the room. And the best part about this is it got readers added context, whatever this is called on X, right? Where there was like disinformation, and X has their own system in place to correct stuff. Conservatives were not challenged to denounce neo-Nazism. Conservatives did not leave the room. This post is a material misrepresentation of what occurred for partisan political purposes and is misinformation. The video of the events is clear this did not occur. Absolutely wild that this got fact-checked on X and their entire narrative is collapsing. You have Liberals and NDP that are taking things out of context and using it to try and gain cheap political points. And it doesn't work. And it's absolutely hilarious because they go around spewing, oh, you got to stop mis and disinformation. And then they get caught and exposed for spreading mis and disinformation. It's the circle of life. It is awesome. It's hypocrisy at its finest, and also karma. And speaking of karma, we've got this post here, this article from the Toronto Star that is saying Pierre Poilievre has been accused of flirting with Diagolon. Here's what the extremist group thinks of that. And it's kind of funny because Diagolon recently came out with a video, if I'm not mistaken, distancing themselves from Pierre Poilievre and saying that they have absolutely nothing to do with Pierre. And I don't even think that Diagolon supports the Conservatives or Pierre Poilievre. Certainly don't support Justin Trudeau or the Liberals, because if they did, if Diagolon publicly came out and said that they support Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, then why hasn't Justin Trudeau ever denounced it? But we'll have to wait and see how this whole Diagon Alley situation unravels as time goes on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to end this video. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about any of the topics that were brought up. On your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys one last time to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, get yourself a Wacko Trudeau Has to Go sticker, and I will see you all in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.